YouTube, how's it going? The Goat House is back. And we got an updated NFL mock draft heading into week 7 in the NFL season, week 8 of the college football season. So a lot of changes here, updates in some players entering the first round. We see Tennessee beating Bama this past weekend. They got a notable name that are making the cut here in the first round. So really excited to break this all down. We're going to keep updating these here and there throughout the way. In the offseason, we got constant NFL draft content here. But in-season, a lot of in-season stuff, picks, power rankings, a lot more. So join us, like, subscribe to notifications on. Follow us on Twitter, live news, rumors, updates, talking during live games. Link pinned in the comments for that Twitter. For our picks leagues that are going on, not too late to join. If you're joining our Super League, you can get involved in videos. More information in that link. And then the GLD shop is our sponsor this season. You see I'm rocking their Eagles chain made from real gold. They have all kinds of jewelry options, very affordable, 33% off with my code GOAT. There's a link pinned in the comments there. But yeah, let's break down this mock. And we're using the current draft order, so of course it'll be different when it's the actual draft, you would think. But the Panthers, as of right now, have the first overall pick. And I have them going C.J. Stroud, the quarterback from Ohio State. I keep hearing Will Levis. A lot of NFL teams really like Will Levis. They love his upside, and maybe just get him out of that Kentucky system. Rough offensive line, kind of trying to dink and dunk a little bit more than you would like a Will Levis offense to do, just because of that offensive line, things like that. So I think he has a lot of upside, could be a better pro. I think the Panthers would go the Stroud route. I don't know. They would probably go the safer route there. I don't know if they would go with the upside, maybe a little bit of a project in Will Levis. I think they'll like Stroud there. So the Panthers go quarterback, obviously. Then the Raiders with the second overall pick, and you could make a good prediction that the Raiders won't have the second overall pick, but as of right now, they do. We'll see what they do this year, but just too good to pass on a guy like Will Anderson. Last year's draft class featured a very strong edge group there, and I think Will Anderson would have been the best of that group. So just a combination of everything, get off, speed, power, gets after the quarterback at a high level. You can play, kind of can fit the edge position in either scheme. The Raiders do have Max Crosby and Chandler Jones. Chandler Jones been a little underwhelming. He's not going to be around forever. Just the idea of what you could build in the future here at Max Crosby and Will Anderson, just the best pass rush duo of the future, you would think here. So would have to go that route. Lions go quarterback Bryce Young. Goff's been okay this year. So far, better than expected, but still think they're looking out for their quarterback of the future. And it could be Levis, it could be Young. It was kind of back and forth because I could definitely see them going Levis. Like I said, I hear that NFL teams are higher on Levis and maybe the media. But, with the type of receivers they have, I think they would mesh really well with Bryce Young's ability to, throw on the run, get outside the pocket. Fits with Amon-Ra St. Brown, in my opinion. Jamison Williams, who was at Alabama with Bryce Young last year, just makes a lot of sense. So they go that route. Then maybe a little bit bold, tiny bit with the Texans. Back-to-back picks looks pretty good. But with Will Levis, they could definitely stick with Davis Mills, especially if they don't get the top quarterback on their board. It could be Levis, could be somebody else. But I just get the feeling where it's still early in the season. The Texans didn't play this past week. They had a bye, but here we are heading into week 7. But I just get the feeling that they aren't really fully sold on Mills, which you shouldn't be, and they are open to getting better at the position, and they see Levis, the upside, possibly could be better than Mills right away, and the upside is incredible there. So, and their defense has been fairly solid so far this early stage of the season. It's the offense kind of letting them down, turnovers late in the game, just not producing enough points. It's really Dameon Pierce trying to carry the load. It looks like the offensive line's been playing better. So, get that quarterback of the future here. Again, they could stick with Davis Mills. Just kind of the feeling I get. And then they go best player available, Jalen Carter. And him in the interior defensive line there, which they could use. So some really good prospects there for the Houston Texans. Eagles, 2 picks. This one's looking pretty good from the Saints, 6th overall. Christian Gonzalez getting a lot of buzz. The long corner from Oregon, been locked down. Teams throwing away from him. In the Eagles, they add James Bradbury this offseason. He's been fantastic. A little bit more of a lengthy corner like Gonzalez. Do they re-sign Bradbury? Darius Slay's been fantastic. He is getting up there in age. So, and they've been so good. This defense has been so good because they're lockdown corners. They want to make sure they keep it that way. And they don't have too much depth either. So get a corner that's getting a lot of buzz here. Has the length that teams are looking for. See, you take Gardner as early as you did. And that's working out for the Jets. So maybe that somebody takes a shot early on a guy like Gonzalez here, the former Colorado corner, now the Oregon corner. Steelers go Peter Skoronski. I wouldn't rule out quarterback if one of those guys are available, just a chance to get better there. But maybe they insist on Pickett. But they could use an offensive lineman. Skoronski, some people maybe think he has upside at guard. I like him at tackle, but kind of having that insurance is fantastic here. For the Steelers, I have the Cardinals going Bijan Robinson, running back from Texas. You don't see running backs going this early anymore, but this is a different running back with Robinson, but it's a different running back class. A lot of these guys could be instant Pro Bowlers like Robinson here. The Cardinals have James Conner. Throughout his whole career, he's kind of been beat up, and they've been kind of scrambling, trying to find that next option there. And they got a couple guys that can play, but it's just, I think they'll be in the market for a stud like this, kind of go big or go home, and you can go big with the guy like Robinson here. I think would just fit in that Cliff Kingsbury offense very well, can use him in multiple different ways there. So they get better at the position there, get more electrifying playmakers around Kyler Murray with that 8th overall pick. Next group of teams, Jags go Michael Mayer, tight end from Notre Dame. It's kind of the complete package type of tight end. Very well worth a top 10 pick. Look at Mayer and Doug Peterson's offense. It feels pretty good. That'd be pretty solid there for them. They have Evan Ingram, a little bit different type of tight end, only a 1-year deal as well. Just get another weapon out there for Lawrence. Bears could be in the market for a quarterback. They could go receiver. They could go a number of things. But with a 10th pick as of right now, I'm grabbing Paris Johnson Jr. from Ohio State, guy that can play tackle or guard, but I like him at right tackle for the Chicago Bears. Looks like maybe they got one with Braxton Jones at left tackle. Commanders have a big need at corner, interior offensive line, linebacker, but they're probably about to trade William Jackson, so that kind of opens up the cornerback need a little bit more. Clark Phillips of Utah has been very impressive last year as well, but especially this year for that Utes defense. So they add him, kind of pair him with Kendall Fuller there. Seahawks from the Broncos. This pick's looking pretty good as of right now. They grabbed that edge rusher Miles Murphy. You kind of got the athletic type of pass rushers in there. Seahawks are still looking for that physical guy to put that defensive end position, so they grab that type of guy in Miles Murphy. Falcons take Jahmyr Gibbs, running back from Alabama. I think an incredible fit in Arthur Smith's scheme. Kind of missing that weapon that can, consistently run the ball and catch the ball out of the backfield. They have that in Patterson, but, you see him injured this year. He's kind of getting up there in age. You want kind of more of that true running back, even though Patterson does look like a legit running back. But, yeah, right now they're kind of mixing it up with Huntley and Algier. Just go get better at the position here, where you kind of can get creative with Patterson and Gibbs, using them in multiple different ways, running game, passing game there. So I just really like the fit. Just such a fun player to watch, too. Bama been getting him going more and more, getting him more touches more and more lately. He's been a big factor for them. Seahawks grab an interior offensive lineman here, Osiris Torrance from Florida, who's been fantastic. Looking like maybe unless you switch one of these tackles like a Skoronski or a Paris Johnson Jr. to guard, those guys could be the best guard in the class. Torrance, best true guard as of right now. Seahawks offensive line playing way better than expected. Looks like they have their tackle duo of the future. They add Torrance in there. That'll be massive for them to kind of complete that offensive line. Bengals need an offensive line. Broderick Jones, offensive tackle from Georgia. See, some of those Georgia guys, you feel always you can move them around a bit as well, but Bengals desperately need another offensive lineman in there. Patriots go Zay Flowers, who's been super fun to watch, knows how to get the separation, really good after the catch. Honestly, reminds me of Antonio Brown coming out a little bit. I would hope that he's not the same type of person like off the field or, with his you get what I mean, but I don't think that's the case. And then Flowers has been very fun to watch. Boston College is kind of being carried by him. They've been a little underwhelming, but Patriots receivers producing pretty well this year because they have a number of guys. Even adding Parker into the mix, adding Thornton to the mix, who just played his first game this past week, was impressive. But a lot of those guys are free agents. Parker, Myers, Bourne, a lot of those, they're going to need somebody else in there. And I think the future could be that speed with Thornton, who has that length as well, and Flowers, who doesn't have length, but he's just very electrifying type of playmaker there. So I like to fit with the Patriots at 16th overall. 17, the Packers take a receiver as well. The receiver's been pretty damn underwhelming, and maybe they finally realized, because they finally realized last year we got to take some receivers. They draft Christian Watson in the second round, and they draft Romeo Doubs. Doubs has been pretty impressive, but Maybe they realize, like, we got to go with the sure thing guy. Like, we can't mess around with, Watson's a little bit of a project, and we can't just kind of put a Band-Aid over the situation. We got to go out there and fix it. So Jackson Smith and Jigba from Ohio State could be that answer there. And there's been some rumors that Rodgers could be retired after the season. We'll see about that, but definitely could use the help here. Dolphins get Keely Ringo, corner from Georgia. Obviously a big-name corner in this class. Very good in man coverage. Dolphins want to run a lot of that. Dolphins on paper, they're pretty good at corner, but they just continue to get beat up. Nothing guaranteed with Byron Jones here going forward anyways. So they grab Ringo there to get some insurance at the cornerback position. He would start right away as well. Bucks go Alu Fashanu, the offensive tackle from Penn State, who's been a standout guy kind of out of nowhere this year for Penn State. Buccaneers just need offensive line help. Really they should be all right at tackle. That's the issue here. No guard with the pick here. Do they move a guy like this inside, or they just do they look out for the future of the left tackle position? It's just really what's holding the Bucs back right now is the offensive line play. Ravens take Jordan Addison, wide receiver from USC, former Pitt wide receiver. Good separator, gonna get a ton of receptions. Obviously, gonna rack up some yards after the catch, but pretty quick as well. But the Ravens we're always a little shy at taking a receiver, valuing a receiver pretty highly. I think they're finally realizing we better do that. I mean, they're bringing Deshaun Jackson in. Now, that's a big thing, but in for a visit actually tomorrow at the time of recording this. So I think they're kind of realizing we might need some more receivers here because who's supposed to be their own receiver, Rashad Bateman. I don't know. It's very, 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 very early for him, but has he lived up to the hype of the first as the receiver one, and he's been injured. So go get a true receiver one out there and a guy like Addison. Lions, we haven't taken a quarterback. They're definitely going to have to focus on defense here, this next one, if not the first one, because the defense is looking like the worst in football right now. They can use pretty much anything. They got some young pieces that they're hoping could step up in a lot of spots, but linebacker's a big one. Need somebody to pair up Malcolm Rodriguez. So they go Trenton Simpson, a linebacker from Clemson. Colts, Tyree Wilson, edge from Texas Tech, who kind of can move around a bit. It's been very productive last couple of years. You love the length and athleticism on him. The Colts pass rush group's been a little underwhelming so far. Will Ngakoue be part of the long-term plans? Is it kind of just Kwity Paye is the only one that's for sure a starter long-term? And he's been beat up as well, so they grab Wilson here for that defense. Brian Bruze, defensive lineman from Clemson. For the Chargers, they definitely can use another guy up there to help stop the run and get after the quarterback from the interior. And the Titans go Quentin Johnson, a big riser, the receiver from TCU. Big body, contested catch animal, racking up a lot of production. Titans could use a receiver they drafted this past year, Traylon Burks, to kind of replace A.J. Brown. So let's get that outside big body target. Maybe they wanted in a guy like, I don't know if they expected a lot from Josh Gordon, who they actually just released today, but I think they're kind of looking for that guy still. They kind of have a lot of, I know Burks is kind of a big body, but he's more of a do-it-all, gadget type guy there. So grab a guy like Johnson, kind of a downfield sideline guy there. So like to fit with the Titans, maybe what they're potentially looking for. Next group of guys, Jets take Christopher Smith, the safety from Georgia, who's been maybe the best safety in college football this year, kind of all over the place. Taking over for, kind of looking like Lewis Seen, how big time he was for Georgia last year. Jets looking really good right now. I mean, they're holding the 25th pick right now. It's crazy. And you see the Giants at 27. But the corner duo, what they built last year, looking super good, super nice. Adding a big-time safety in that mix could make that secondary extra scary. Cowboys, not a whole lot of major needs, but Javon Dexter, who's a impressive interior defensive lineman this year from Florida. They could use add him in there, just make that D-line even scarier. Giants, I had this last time. I just really like the fit of Noah Sewell. I do think his stock has dropped a little bit over the last year or throughout the season. I just love the fit Martindale's scheme. He's a good inside linebacker and a 3-4 that could blitz at a pretty high level, and it just really fits there. It's something their defense looks really good right now, but it's something they could use. And then Jalen Hyatt. How about Jalen Hyatt against Alabama or just in general this season? The speedy deep threat that he's been, the production, the yards, the touchdown that he's racking up. He just got 5 touchdowns in Alabama, and he's been doing more than just that Alabama game. Just really fits today's NFL. It's just more and more speed entering the league. Chiefs Still looking for some more guys, and they're interested in guys like that. Really, it's interesting because Cedric Tillman could still be the better Tennessee receiver because he's more of a total package. He's been injured. Crazy they beat Bama without him. Hyatt really stepping up. Could Tillman sneak up here as well? Just haven't seen enough of him recently, but Hyatt feels like he's really soaring up boards. It's super impressive over the last couple games, especially the Alabama game. It just really fits the Chiefs there, so I love that fit. The Vikings at 29 go B.J. Ojulari, edge rusher from LSU's had a fantastic year. The Vikings, maybe not their number one biggest need. They've been a little underwhelming on defense, though. It's kind of Zadarius Smith carrying the pass rush group right now. Danielle Hunter's been a little underwhelming, and I think it's because the scheme change. He really just feels like a 4-3 end. They switched to a 3-4. So get a guy like Ojulari who could fit the Vikings a little better. There's always Hunter trade rumors. Could that be at the end of this year as well? Possibly there. So they get Ojulari. And again, a guy like Zadarius Smith is not going to be around forever either. So it's just kind of a need there. I did notice Patrick Jones stepped up for them this past game against Miami. So that's good. Brian Branch, Alabama safety. They move him around a bit too. For the Bills, the Bills had Micah Hyde injured, and I'm sure he'll be back good to go next year. Poyer going to be a free agent. Instead of extending him, they kind of tweaked his contract, which was weird. It usually means they're going to let him go, but he's been playing so good that they could bring him back. So they may not need a safety. They can keep their elite safety duo together. But as of right now, it looks like they could use one on top of not having really very many needs at all. So I like Branch of the Bama group. The secondary has been a little worse than expected, especially against Tennessee, that high-powered offense. But I think Branch is a solid one. He's had a solid outing here, really helped his stock. And then the Eagles with their second pick. How about Blake Corum? He is tearing it up. He split with Haskins last year, and he looked pretty promising, and he looks really good for Michigan this year. Very good vision, hitting some home runs, can slip through tackles as well. The Eagles could use that back. Obviously, always looking for more. Miles Sanders has been pretty impressive, but always looking for more backs. They could take, the superstar guy in Robinson early, but Corum sitting here at 31 made some sense to me. And, of course, unfortunately, the Dolphins forfeited their pick, so there'd only be 31 picks in the draft. Other guys I considered, the running back class is so freaking good. There's a list of other running backs. These were the top three for me as of right now. We talked about Tennessee, that big performance against Alabama. How about Hendon Hooker? Maybe the leader for the Heisman Trophy right now. He's been impressive. I said it going in this year. He reminds me a little bit of Deshaun Watson, a little bit, maybe a poor man's. And he's very talented, has that strong arm, has that touch pass. He knows when to run, when to take off. He could escape, run past players. The problem is he's going to be 25 years old. That's a little tough. A lot of things are schemed up in that Tennessee offense. If he wasn't 25, if he was a couple years younger, he'd be in this first round, maybe in the middle, maybe the back end. But I think teams, a lot of time teams are with the court. There's a chunk of team. Most teams, for them to take a quarterback in the first round, we got to be in love, sure thing, feel good about his upside. I think the age probably slowing that thought down maybe. And then there's some teams that they're willing to grab a quarterback, for that option, that first round, fifth year option. And maybe that's not a big deal for an older quarterback. Perhaps I could still see him going late first, but he's more likely a second round. I think there'd be a battle for him in the second round. Teams trying to move up. Just a really, maybe a pro-ready type quarterback, more experienced, and then very, very cheap in that second round. So it'd be really good to get him on that deal. So I'd see teams moving, completely not even considering him taking the first maybe, but then trading up in the second. I can just see that for those reasons. Kincaid had a big game. It's Utah tight end. I thought about sneaking him in the first round. He had a big game against USC this past week for Utah. So a couple guys like that I really, really considered. There's still a couple more corners. Joey Porter Jr. out there still. So a lot of good players here. It was tough that we don't have to go over 32 picks. We have an extra guy in here, so the Dolphins blew that for us. But just good to update these here and there as the college and the NFL season goes on to see the changes here and who's rising up board. So let me know your guys' thoughts in the comments. Always looking forward to see those, or whether it's on Twitter or in the comments here. Full NFL coverage here. Always have weekly picks, score predictions, power rankings, rookie rankings, and a lot more. Maybe some trade videos here coming up. Already some out, but some more coming as we approach the trade deadline. So subscribe, turn notifications on. Stay tuned for those videos. All that, much appreciated. Check out our Twitter. Check out those other links pinned in the comments. Also much appreciated. But that is going to do it. Thanks, everyone, for watching. Goodbye.